Hello students, welcome to class 7. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about anti-HIV drugs. So before starting with the topic, let us try and understand what do we mean by AIDS and structure of HIV. AIDS is an acronym for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. It is a disease caused by a virus called HIV, that is, Human Immunodeficiency Virus. There are two related kinds of viruses called HIV-1 and HIV-2. All AIDS cases in the United States are caused by HIV-1. In the West Africa, HIV-2 predominates, whereas in Central Africa, it is HIV-1. Next is structure of HIV-1. The internal portion of HIV consists of single-stranded RNA and the enzyme reverse transcriptase, making HIV a retrovirus. They are contained within a protein capsid which is surrounded by internal envelope protein 17 and a phospholipid membrane studded with glycoproteins. The glycoproteins allow the virus to attach to a chemical receptor called CD4 on the surface of T4 lymphocytes, helper T cells. After binding to CD4 and entering T4 lymphocyte, the virus loses its capsid, exposing its RNA. DNA is a hereditary material in all cellular organisms, but a virus is not a cellular organism, and some viruses have RNA as their hereditary material instead of DNA. The AIDS virus is one example of an RNA containing virus, and it replicates its RNA in an interesting manner. After penetrating a human host cell, the AIDS virus makes a strand of DNA that is complementary to the RNA, thus forming an RNA-DNA hybrid. In other words, the AIDS virus acts in a manner just opposite to that of the cellular organisms. Instead of using DNA as a template to make RNA, it uses RNA as a template to make DNA. It can do this because the virus has a special enzyme called reverse transcriptase. After the RNA-DNA hybrid has been made, a second DNA strand is synthesized complementary to the first DNA strand, resulting in a molecule of double-stranded DNA. This double-stranded viral DNA becomes integrated into the DNA of the human host cell, and thus it becomes hereditary in that cell. In this integrated form, the virus is dormant and causes no damage to the infected cell. However, at some later date, the virus becomes activated from its dormant state. When this activation occurs, the viral DNA directs the synthesis of a new viral RNA and viral proteins. Then, the RNA and proteins are assembled into numerous virus progeny, which are liberated from the surface of the host cell to infect other T4 lymphocytes. The host T4 lymphocyte is killed during this viral multiplication. HIV also infects other cells in the body. Next is pathogenicity of HIV. Individuals who are infected with the AIDS virus usually do not develop AIDS until long after they become infected. This is because after the virus initially multiplies in the body, the person's immune system produces antibodies against the virus. These antibodies can control further viral multiplication for some period of time, often several years. However, they do not completely eliminate the virus because much of it exists as a part of the genetic material of the host T4 lymphocytes. When T4 cells carrying HIV become stimulated during an immune response, the HIV becomes activated, replicates and kills the host T4 cells. In this manner, virus gradually gains ground and eventually damages the immune system to the point that the body can no longer hold the virus in check. This is followed by the development of clinical illness indicative of AIDS. Next is symptoms of AIDS. Enlargement of limb glands, tiredness, fever, loss of appetite, loss of weight, nausea, diarrhea, insomnia, etc. The AIDS virus infection may also spread to CNS and brain, causing loss of memory and coordination. So far, there is no definite cure for AIDS infection. Hence, if a person infected by HIV is exposed to other infection, he will suffer from above disease for prolonged period which do not get cured and ultimately results in death. Next is diagnosis and treatment. The presence of HIV can be detected by the following test. First is ELISA test, that is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay test, and second is Western blot test. Most of the treatments for HIV and AIDS are still in the experimental phase, resulting in a lot of conflicting information. Next is inhibitors of reverse transcriptase, that is pyrimidines. First is zidovudin, that is AZT, that is 3-azido-3-deoxythymidine, that is Retrovir. This nucleoside was synthesized in 1978 by Lin and Rusoff as an intermediate in the preparation of amino acid analogues of thymidine. Zidovudin is active against retroviruses, which is a group of RNA viruses responsible for AIDS and some types of leukemia. Zidovudin halts the DNA synthesis of HIV through competitive inhibition of its reverse transcriptase, that is enzyme. Although it does not cure the disease, it does retard multiplication of the virus and can prolong life. After the AZT is incorporated, no additional nucleotide can be added and viral DNA synthesis stops. AZT has little effect on human cells because they use DNA polymerase, not reverse transcriptase, to make DNA. However, 30 to 40% patients treated with AZT may develop serious side effects such as anemia due to the toxicity of the drugs to the bone marrow. Second is lamivudin, EPIVIR, also known as 3-TC, is a brand name for lamivudin. Lamivudin is the enantiomer of a dideoxy analog of cytidine. Lamivudin is a white to off-white crystalline solid with a solubility of approximately 70 mg per milliliter in water at 20 degrees centigrade. EPIVIR tablets, that is 300 mg of lamivudin, are for oral administration and it is rapidly absorbed with a bioavailability of over 80%. Lamivudin has been used for treatment of chronic hepatitis B at a lower dose than for treatment of HIV. It can inhibit both types 1 and 2 of HIV reverse transcriptase and also the reverse transcriptase of hepatitis B. Lamivudin is often given in combination with zidovudin, with which it is highly synergistic. Side effects are headache, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, insomnia, change in appetite, dizziness, weakness or muscle aches may occur. A skin rash and pigmentation, fever, chills, cough, stomach pain, tingling of the hands or feet, rapid breathing, changes in body fat may also occur. Next is DDI, didenosine purines. This is 2-3-dideoxyionosin, that is Videx, also known as didenosine or DDI. It is a synthetic purine nucleoside analog which is bioactivated to 2-3-dideoxyadenosine triphosphate (DDATP) by cellular enzymes. The DDATP gets accumulated intracellularly and it then inhibits reverse transcriptase and gets incorporated into viral DNA, which results in chain termination in HIV infected cells. The potency of DDI is less than that of AZT in the treatment of HIV. However, it is mainly used in the treatment of patients with advanced HIV. However, when AZT and DDI combination are used, it synergistically inhibits HIV replication in vitro. DDI is administered orally in the form of chewable tablet or a solution prepared from the powder. The oral preparation contains buffers to prevent acid destruction of acid labile DDI to hypoxanthine in the stomach. Some common side effects are nausea, abdominal pain, peripheral neuropathy, etc. So students, in our today's lecture, we have discussed about AIDS, structure of HIV, pathogenicity of HIV, symptoms of AIDS, diagnosis and treatment, inhibitors of reverse transcriptase, that is zidovudin, lamivudin and DDI.